Welcome to We Connect. Thank you so much for joining us on this program today. My guest is Dadhichi. He's Australian, he's an astrologer, and so I know that we're going to have lots to talk to him about. Let me get right to it. Thank you so much, Dadhichi. I know you're just here on a very, very brief visit.
Brief but intense, but India always is intense.
Intense, right. Australian, yes. Astrologer. I'm just thinking, where do all of these blend?
Well, Australian, but from Maltese and Hungarian parentage,
okay.
Which is where I think some of my interest in astrology came from. My father was a Hungarian gypsy who was very good with palmistry, okay. And my mother and her mother and her mother were quite premonitional in their dreams. So I think that mix has given me a natural affinity with the subject.
So it's in the genes, really.
It's in well, I think everything's in the genes, which is really what astrology is. It's just a representation of the genetic wiring. You know, we're hardwired to a large extent to who we are and what we do.
Right. So for at least 14 years, you studied astrology on your own out of your inborn interest.
Well, 27 or 28 years,
so
actually.
For the initial part of it, but then
yes.
You started to actually have a guru here in Chennai City.
Yes, in 1995, the very quiet but extraordinary astrologer Sri V. Krishnaswamy.
Right. How did you get in touch with him? How did it begin?
Through a mutual Hindu priest.
Really?
I was travelling here with the Indian High Commission, the consulate. They wanted me to do some work up here, and I had the opportunity to meet him, and I fell in love with him.
So do you come very often to touch base with him?
Well, we speak every other day on the phone. I've got the phone bills to prove it. But I've been here 4 times. This is my 4th time, and I've got to say, this trip has really blown me away. The infrastructural changes, the whole energy here is completely different and very positive, I might add.
Right. Well, that's nice to hear that. You know.
No, I'm not just saying that.
Yes,
I'm very, very impressed.
Right.
Hyderabad was amazing. Delhi, the new airports, the new super freeways and that. It's just incredible.
Oh, India is a country of the future.
It definitely is, and we're going to talk about that, I hope, from the astrology map that I have.
Right. So let's go right into that now.
Yes.
Tell me.
Well, the period of around 2015 to 2025 is very, very powerful for India. In fact, I've gone out on a limb to say that I think India, I mean, everyone's looking at China as the next superpower, but I really think you've got to put India up there with it, especially from what we see in the horoscope. There are some very, very big transitions coming around the time of your next election, actually. I think it's around 2014.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
So that changeover to a planet that's very, very strong, the lunar cycle, I think, will give India a lot more, I suppose, self-confidence, faith in its own power, in its own people, and its own abilities to really come up and stand head held high on the world stage.
Right. Interest in astrology now. So you live in Australia?
Yes.
And
well, I'm actually living in the Philippines and Australia.
Okay, right. So you live in these 2 countries. I was just thinking about the interest in astrology in Australia, for instance. Let's talk about that.
It's a slightly different approach to what we have here in India. I mean, you've got the ancient Jyotish here, and so it's become very ingrained into the day-to-day culture, particularly in the matrimonial area. But I think it's slowly coming of age in Australia, and strangely over the last 10 years I've noticed men becoming more interested in it, executives and even political people. So I've been doing a lot of work with those type of people, and that's surprising me.
In Australia?
Yes, in Australia, the US, all around the world.
Really? So are they actually consulting you and then making their decisions in terms of their political careers?
Yes, I've had company directors consulting me every month to, you know, strategy, where to invest money, which staff to hire. So the human resources side of business lends itself to astrology, face reading, palmistry. You know,
really?
What sort of staff are we going to hire? How are the staff getting on with each other? And also for sales teams, how are we going to improve the bottom line by gaining a deeper understanding of the clients and the public that we deal with? So it has many, many applications that people don't often think about.
You know, I am totally amazed by what you're telling me.
I like it.
I really am amazed, because we always thought that, you know, it's probably people who just open a newspaper, check their stars, what the stars foretell, how's the week going to be, how's the day going to be, what's my birthday forecast, stuff like this.
That's the general year market astrology. And even with the books that I write, I guess you have to give people an introduction to it. But the more serious astrology takes into account a lot of other factors, not just the sun, all the different planetary forces, you know, the time of birth, the location of birth. You've got to look at the cultural context in which we study these horoscopes. And a lot of these aspects are often left out, even by supposed seasoned astrologers. So intuition is the most important thing, I say.
Right. You can't develop intuition, can you?
Yes, you can.
Truly?
You must
How?
practice. I mean, if you're working out at the gym, you can't pick up the biggest weight to start with. You need to start with small weights and then develop. Likewise with the intuitive process, which I believe is ingrained in all of us,
Everywhere.
has to be developed through breathing techniques, awareness, self-study, and of course, hanging out with people that have already trod that path,
Right.
so that they can show you the proper path.
You learn from everybody else,
do, indeed.
right? Okay.
Yes.
Now, you've made astrology obviously your life's ambition, your life's journey.
I sure have.
Truly, haven't
Yes.
you?
Yes.
Is it possible to actually have it as a business? I mean, can you actually make money from being an astrologer in Australia?
Well, I can see everyone out there saying, well, now comes the delicate point.
Yeah.
Well, he's an astrologer, a spiritual science, making money from it.
Yes.
It's difficult. I think making money's okay from it. Yes, I do make money from it. But I think with anything, it's the motivation. And I do believe karma, which we often talk about, which is mistakenly said to relate to the actions, I think has more to do with the inner processes of motivation. What we're motivated by, what we desire within ourselves, I think sets the trend for our karma. Sometimes an action appears to be quite wrong, but actually the intention from within is truly motivated by the highest good.
Right.
So I'd like to say I am motivated by trying to help people, even though I charge.
Right.
I have to eat and
Yes.
pay my bills too. So
That's right. Now, you live some of the time in the Philippines.
yes.
Let's talk now about Southeast Asia. And do you find that astrology is very, very popular on that side of the world?
Well, not just, the reason I'm in Southeast Asia, I spend a lot of time in America. I've got clients in America, in Hollywood. But I've just found, and no offense to the Americans,
Yes.
I love all different peoples, but here in Asia there seems to be this effervescence at the moment, this energy, this dynamic push. People are prepared to try different things. And that appeals to my imagination and what's possible. Science of human possibilities.
Yes.
I think Swami Ranganathananda once said. I love that because it does show us that you've got to be prepared to take that step and try different things. Here in Asia that's happening and I'm excited by that, which is why I'm here.
How do people look at you, Dadhichi, as an Australian astrologer?
Well, I think initially, especially here in India, if they think, oh, he's an
Curiosity?
astrologer, he's one of those sun sign astrologers, he doesn't know anything really. Well, you know, we still have to humble ourselves, and I still feel I don't know a lot as far as astrology is concerned. But I do have some insights into the Vedic astrology, and I'd like to think that I'm able to bridge the two areas, the East and the West.
Right. Another short break, but stay right there with us.